Folks, we are here. We have done it. We have made it. It is Wednesday, October 7th, 2020. It is 5 past the hour, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or if you are coming to us, one of our friends from the Pacific time zone, it is 6:05 p.m., where you may have just eaten dinner or you are preparing to eat dinner. If you are preparing to eat dinner, let us know what you're eating. Is it meatloaf? Is it some type of shepherd's pie? Perhaps you're having some sushi. Maybe you're having some type of steak or a chicken dish. Otherwise, if you're coming to us from the Eastern time zone, I suspect you've had dinner. The same question applies. Let us know what you ate for dinner tonight. Is tonight's show about what you had for dinner? Absolutely not. If any show I ever promote on this platform, which is Twitch, is ever about, hey, what did you have for dinner tonight? You will know that I've officially given up both on this show succeeding and my life in general succeeding. Coming into tonight's show, I was feeling a little bit blasé. I felt a cloud kind of murkily surrounding me. I woke up feeling optimistic, ready to go. I took a shower. I did a bit of singing in the shower, and I had a to-do list, which I accomplished very little of. Why? Right around noon, I got a little sleepy. So I laid down, I took a nap, and we've all been here. It was one of those naps that just didn't take. You wake up, you feel concerned, you feel woozy, you don't know what happens. You grab your phone for no reason. You see a text, you're confused, you fall back asleep. I woke up, it had been raining all day in Montreal. I opened my curtains, I looked outside and I saw some dark clouds, but I saw blue skies coming my way. And I thought, this is my moment. This is my chance to get my walk in. I didn't get a chance to take a walk in the morning. And I knew, James, that is precisely why you were feeling out of sorts. So I put my shoes on. I put my cool guy jacket on. I put my favorite black hoodie on. I began to walk when suddenly the clouds separated, lightning cracked, and a great rain fell upon me, soaking me, hammering me from head to toe. And that is why I am wearing a multicolored hoodie tonight. So if at any moment you're watching and you're thinking to yourself, hey, James seems off tonight, what's going on with this guy? It's because I'm wearing too much color. Now, I think I present myself as a bit of a colorful character. I think I walk into a room and I light it up like a Christmas tree in Times Square. I think people look at me and go, this is the Elton John of our time. But I like to do it with muted and dark tones. I like to, as I have mentioned on this show many, many countless times, to lean into a Darlene Connor Depression era version of her character on Roseanne. And right now, I look like someone that you have booked as an out-of-town improviser, decked out in Old Navy multicolored hoodie with a checkered flannel. That's what I'm doing. And why am I doing it? I'm doing it because my clothes are soaking wet. All of my favorite numbers are completely wet. I want to say hello to everyone in our chat right now. I want to thank those of you who have followed and subscribed to us right here on twitch.tv/@home-with-James. Your donations go to making this show better. For only pennies a day, you can help this show succeed by putting money into our budget that can help us in a variety of ways, none of which I am prepared to reveal yet. Why? Because I like a good secret on this show. I love a good secret. I love a good secret in life. Let's be honest, right? Someone leans in, they say, hey, I got a secret to tell you. You get a little nervous, but you're excited. As long as it's not about you and it's fun, even if it isn't fun. Who doesn't love a good secret? And I've got so many secrets about this show, one of which I revealed a couple days ago when I mentioned that our Saturday night special episode happens on Saturday, October 31st, right here on Twitch. And it is going to be what I believe to be the most overbooked show in At Home with James history. There are going to be so many guests on this show that I do not envy whomever texts that show and has to set up all of the shots beforehand. Yeah, we're going to have a classic James plus guest shot. We call that a 2-shot. We're going to have a single shot, which is the James shot. We might have a triangle shot, which is 3 shots. It wouldn't surprise me if we have let's say, a 7-person shot. I'm going to tell you why. If you don't know, I'm about to tell you we are having the first At Home with James Halloween pumpkin carving contest. 3 guests, or maybe more, will join us. And from start to finish, they will carve a pumpkin. We will check in at 9 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock, or somewhat after 10 o'clock, we will declare a pumpkin carving champion. Already confirmed to compete is Sehar Manji. She has never carved a pumpkin before. She seemed resistant to my invitation until I offered that I would buy her pumpkin. She will be here. What else are we going to do? Hell, maybe we'll have ourselves a little costume contest on the show. We might even have some spooky stories. We're going to get a little scary on Halloween night right here on Twitch. So how's that for a secret? I keep revealing more and more and more and more and more information about what's going to happen on Halloween night. That I wanted it to sound soothing, but it ended up sounding scary, but not in like a fun Halloween way. It was scary in a way that someone would be whispering into your ear while you're riding a bus or the metro. I need to address the elephant in the room right now. This show is up against the vice presidential debate. Now, I knew when I saw that was happening tonight, I knew we were going to take a hit. The At Home with James universe was going to dwindle. First and foremost, our chief political correspondent, Sid Rock, checked into the chat to say, I'm not sticking around. And I don't blame him. He's probably cooking up some wings and watching the debate. Hell, I might even watch the debate after. So there's that. If we have a nice, tight, intimate crowd tonight, now you know why. It's all because of Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. So thanks for crumbling tonight's show, guys. On tonight's show, we have a very special guest. Now, this person is here regularly, but tonight is even more special. Carla Ma, as you know, has joined some type of corn cult. Carla is supposed to check in with us. Last week, she indicated to me that she needs help. She will be here much later on. Now, our first guest, coming up in just a matter of moments, is not here to talk about Halloween. There is a lesser known and lesser celebrated holiday, at least here in Canada, in the month of October. If you're like me and you neither care about Halloween or Thanksgiving, our first guest will be here to give you tips, tricks, and how-tos on how you can adequately celebrate Halloween. My friend Gabe Rondos will be returning to At Home with James to let us know about some of his Halloween plans. Now, I've been talking for about 11 or 12 minutes. I think I've said enough. I think you've heard enough. So let's begin tonight's show. To preview Thanksgiving this Monday night, the Canadian version, that is, let's welcome very funny and at times unsettling Gabe Rondos to the show. Gabe, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, James. Thanks for having me back, man.
Yeah.
On, the eve of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and you seem ready for the fall season, which includes Thanksgiving, excuse me.
Yeah, not Halloween. Not that you were going to say that.
Yeah, I've had Halloween on the brain because on this show I've been promising to people that I'm going to try to celebrate Halloween for the first time since I was a child. But we're not here to talk about Halloween.
No.
I want to talk about Thanksgiving. You look prepared for fall. You look ready for autumn. How has autumn been for you thus far?
Well, James, autumn, it's been okay. It's been pretty rainy. We've spent a lot of time inside, either forced by weather or forced by specific restrictions imposed by governments. And, I can't say it's been the best, but my prospects are looking up.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me a little bit about those prospects?
Well, James, I'm so happy that you asked because we have a long weekend coming up. And I'm a busybody. I'm a business busybody.
Yeah, you're a very successful guy. You work. You're still working.
I work and I am still working. I've worked in the past. I'm still working now. In the future, I may continue to work. And, for a business busybody like me, a long weekend, and especially Thanksgiving long weekend, it only spells one thing. Chopped Marathon.
Oh, okay. So you plan on watching the Chopped Marathon on what I suspect is the Food Network?
Exactly. Now, you know that Chopped was established in 2009 and has been continuously hosted by Ted Allen. And
yeah, I did not know that.
There's no greater opportunity to, than to use these 3 days to binge all 543 episodes, as well as the 31 specials.
Okay, so over 500 episodes of Chopped. I think I've seen this show maybe twice, and one of them might have been by accident. I maybe
James,
yeah.
Just to clarify, did you see an original Chopped? Did you see a special? Did you see the spin-off Chopped Sweets or any Chopped Beat the Judge?
Yeah, you've totally lost me. I think my experience in watching Chopped is watching diners, drive-ins, and dives, falling asleep on the couch and waking up at 2:30 in the morning to see that Chopped was on, feeling disoriented as I did earlier today when I awoke from a mighty slumber.
Well, James, if you're a little bit unfamiliar, if you're unsure, I'd love to just kind of detail the show for you.
Please.
I could just sort of speak off the top of my head. In each episode, 4 chefs compete in a 3-round contest where they attempt to incorporate unusual combinations of ingredients into dishes that are later evaluated by a panel of 3 judges. Now, you might be asking yourself, who are those 3 judges? It's not just 3. It's a rotating cast of judges, but on each episode, there is just 3.
Okay, so do you have any particularly favorite judges that you enjoy? Like when you turn Chopped on, is it like, oh yeah, it's...
So I wasn't sure if you were going to ask that, but I'm happy that you did. Some of my favorite judges are Scott Connaught, Jeffrey Zakarian, and Amanda Freitag. But I do still have a soft spot for Chris Santos, Alex Guarnaschelli, Mark Murphy, Aaron Sanchez, Manit Chauhan, Marcus Samuelson when he comes on as well. So those are just like a couple of the names that I sort of remember.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must truly be a super fan to be able to just rattle those off of the top of your brain.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, and rattling something off the top of my brain is basically the concept of Chopped in the first place, right? You get your basket of ingredients, you don't know what it's going to be, and you need to improvise, right? It's culinary improvisation, and it's similar to what you do as well, but with your mouth and face and body.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they are very similar in the sense, instead of using food and cutlery and cutting boards and cooking items, I'm using my mouth, my face, and my body. Well, you intend on watching 3 full days of Chopped. How are you going to stay alert for this entire time?
That's such a great question. Mainly cigarettes.
Wait. Okay, so you intend on... Now, I've never smoked in my life, ever. I've never even had a puff of a cigarette. One time I was peer pressured and someone handed me a lit cigarette. I broke it and threw it down. That's a true story. I did not know that cigarettes had an agent that could keep you awake and alert.
Oh, 100%. The nicotine of the cigarette keeps you awake and alert. And additionally, James, nicotine is an appetite suppressant. And you know how hungry I get when I watch Chopped. And I couldn't just be running to the fridge to get more food, between rounds.
Yeah.
During a deliberation. I need to stay focused.
Now, that's a great point. I think a lot of times what happens is people throw on the Food Network, they get hungry, they run to a restaurant, they go and get groceries. So not only are you going to be using cigarettes to stay alert by way of the nicotine, but the nicotine will also act as a hunger suppressant. So you're just going to be able to watch and smoke and watch and smoke.
Well, yeah, you just got to hack darts and chow down on some Chopped. That's what Thanksgiving weekend's all about.
Now, can I ask, now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know you to be a smoker, correct?
Oh, no, I'm not a smoker.
Yeah.
I'm not a smoker. I mean, people drive cars, but they're not necessarily drivers.
Yeah, it's not like they're taking a car to a racetrack, right? That's a great point.
Exactly. So, if I'm just smoking in that moment. I don't identify as a smoker.
That's, you know what, and I think this is a really helpful tip for people in the chat if you want to use smoking for some of its more therapeutic benefits. This is one of them, to stay alert. Now, as a non-smoker this Thanksgiving weekend, do you have an estimate on how many cigarettes you think you'll be smoking? So I assume these episodes are 30 minutes each.
No, that's incorrect.
Okay.
So they're actually 60 minutes each with commercials, but you can skip through the commercials and you can get it down to about 42 minutes. So I'm assuming, and I'm not going to be chain smoking per se. There's going to be a break in between. I would say I'm going to do about a cigarette an hour.
Okay, so if Chopped is on the air for 3 days, so we're looking at 24 hours. I am using a calculator right now.
72.
24 hours times. Okay, so you will be watching 72 episodes of Chopped, and if you plan to smoke one cigarette per episode, you will match the amount of episodes to cigarettes smoked.
That's the intention, yeah. I might go a couple over just if I need an extra real oomph.
Yeah.
But I'll top out at 80.
Okay, now I have a question. Are you concerned about getting over the hump at certain hours? Do you think maybe around the 4 a.m. mark? Do you forecast difficulty in staying awake at certain parts of the day, early morning or night?
In a lot of scenarios, James, I would find this excruciating. I need my Z's. I need my sleep. But when you're watching Chopped and you're watching, people under the gun, there's so much adrenaline that it's contagious. And you know how a contagious adrenaline can be. Of course. And even when you're watching it on TV, so in that way, when I see these competitors pushing so hard to create culinary masterpieces out of surprise basket ingredients, there's nothing that jolts me and injects life into me like that.
Yeah. Well, this is really exciting. I knew that you were going to come on here and be able to provide a very unique outlook on Thanksgiving. Now, I know that you like to cook. During these episodes, do you intend to prepare any food for some type of Thanksgiving that you're either spending alone or with family?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I'm mainly going to be using Uber Eats. I just want to make sure, James, that my focus I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be cooking for me. I don't want to be, this weekend's not about me. It's about these hungry cooks and chefs that are there to compete, that are there to show off their skills, and are there to show that they're among the best and they can't be beat.
And you know what? Isn't that what Thanksgiving is truly about, right? It's not about ourselves. It's about what we can do to, I think, respect each other. I think to celebrate life, again, to be grateful and thankful. And I think it's really honorable on your part that you're going to be spending your Thanksgiving by supporting these enthusiastic and proud contestants on Chopped.
And yeah, James, if I can basically paraphrase everything you've just said, effectively smoking 80 cigarettes is a selfless act on my part.
Oh, can you explain that a little bit more deeply?
Well, I think the way that I understood it is by staying awake and smoking cigarettes and watching Chopped, I'm selflessly supporting others.
Yeah.
And I'm giving thanks and I'm giving acknowledgement to their efforts. And, I think that by saying that, you put it really succinctly.
Well, it's interesting that, again, you bring up the cigarettes, right? Because in this act of selflessness, you're also supporting the cigarette companies that, frankly, have gotten a bad rap over the years.
Well, James, let's reframe that conversation.
Yeah.
You understand there are people that work at cigarette companies, right? And work in the tobacco industry.
Of course. Now,
do you want them to be unemployed?
I personally, I don't. I understand people's frustration and I know that there's a lot of theory that cigarettes are bad for your health? I know that that's been thrown around here and there over the years.
Now, I'm no scientist, but I am someone with a heart and I am someone with compassion.
Yeah.
And for me to ever say that I want for no one to buy cigarettes, so all of these people go unemployed, I mean, that's kind of a heartless statement, don't you think?
Certainly around Thanksgiving.
I would never
Even
be
more
so callous.
Well, let's play devil's advocate here for a second. Again, you're with Gabe Rondos and James right now. We're discussing Thanksgiving and everything that goes into Thanksgiving. In the case that cigarettes are bad for you, I think by smoking 80, maybe 80 plus cigarettes, again, to play devil's advocate, what you're doing is you are taking these cigarettes out of the hand of potential, children and teenagers and people that might already have pre-existing health conditions. So by buying these cigarettes for yourself, a fairly healthy person, if we again wanted to play devil's advocate, you're stopping them from going to people who might not need them.
Yeah, and actually I wouldn't even say that's devil's advocate. It sounds like angel's advocate to me.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, you know what? I like that. That's a positive spin.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to be smoking a particularly festive cigarette during this chopped marathon, Gabe?
Yeah, they're actually called menthol turkeys.
Oh, can you tell me more? This is a seasonal cigarette?
They're a seasonal cigarette.
Yeah.
They've got like a bit of a smoky ginger aftertaste.
Okay.
And they're really, really delightful because normally, James, what you're used to seeing is an orange filter and then the rest of the cigarette is white. In this case, the filter is white and then the rest of the cigarette is orange.
Okay, and it's got hints of ginger flavored?
Absolutely. You know how Camels are kind of like menthol?
Yeah.
Well, these are gingerthol.
Okay, I understand. Now, are there any other like Thanksgiving brand cigarettes that have, like there's got to be a pumpkin spice. I heard certainly you don't want to have a turkey dinner flavored cigarette. The tryptophan might counteract what you're doing by putting you to sleep.
There are that I know of, and I don't know everything, but I'm aware of a few other products. There's cranberry cigs. Have you heard of those?
No.
Okay. Well, there's also let me see. There is corn cigs.
Oh, like the corn flavored cigarettes?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, corn cigs.
Yeah, and then there's also squash darts.
Oh, you got squash darts. So if you were to like buy all of these different flavors of cigarettes, you'd really have yourself a Thanksgiving dinner of cigarettes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty amazing because there's no other opportunity for you to really inhale a holiday.
That's true. So this is,
and that's where the expression comes from. Take it all in.
Yeah, take it all in. Yeah. That is, you know what? I knew because everyone's got different traditions around the holiday season, right? Whether it's Thanksgiving or Easter or Christmas, everyone does it a little differently. So what you are going to be doing is you're going to be watching a 72-hour marathon of Chopped on the Food Network. And again, we're not doing this at the behest of the Food Network. They've not paid for advertisement time. We're giving them free publicity right here on Aho and James. You're going to be watching competitors vie for the top prize while smoking furiously.
No, I wouldn't say furiously.
Okay.
I would say casually and delightfully.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's the contestants that will be working furiously.
Okay, I stand corrected. Now, before we let you go, Gabe, is there anything you'd like to pass on to our audience right now, a Thanksgiving message?
Yeah, if you're ever worried about the Chopped contestants getting hurt, don't worry. Medical personnel are on hand to treat any injuries that occurred during the competition and may, at their discretion, disqualify chefs who are unable to continue safely. So just don't worry. Like, I know that they're using a lot of sharp ingredients and hot pots and pans, but don't worry, there are medical personnel there.
Okay, that is very reassuring to know. So if you're out there and you're going to be watching the 72-hour Chopped Marathon on the Food Network alongside Gabe Rondos and other Chopped heads, just know that there are specialists on hand who are prepared for any and all situations. Gabe, I want to throw the quick curveball your way.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you're available because I know you're going to be busy. We have a show. We've got a Thanksgiving special on Monday. Would you be available? Can I check in with you on Monday periodically to see how you're doing with this marathon?
Yeah, that's great. Now, obviously, as you know, I'll be multitasking. I'll
Yes.
have to be watching Chopped at the same time.
Yep.
I might mute it.
Yep.
Just as a courtesy. But yeah, absolutely. You can check in.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down now. And I know it's short notice. I'm springing it on you. Everyone who knows me knows I like to book this show weeks and sometimes months in advance. So to have you locked in on such short notice, I can't wait to not only celebrate Thanksgiving for the first time in a long time, but do it alongside you, taking part in your Thanksgiving tradition.
I'll be in the midst of taking it all in.
Well, and I'm happy to be taking it all in with you.
We're taking each other.
Taking each other. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. Gabe, thanks so much for sharing your Thanksgiving plans with us in this 2020 Canadian Thanksgiving preview. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, James.
Gabe, that is Gabe Rondos. Always an intriguing and insightful conversation. You heard it here. Are you someone that loves to smoke? Well, there are Thanksgiving flavors. You've got a squash dart and a variety of other darts that might be to your fancy. There's even some corn cigs. So if you've ever been smoking a cigarette, take a puff and you think, yeah, this is good, but I'd really love if it tasted a little bit like corn. You can do that now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to check in with Gabe after the show. I'm going to get a confirmation on the brands. I'm going to talk about it on Friday. So if you're looking for some of these corn cigarettes, hopefully there's maybe even a gravy cigarette. We'll find out what we can do to get you the trusted At Home with James viewer, the cigarettes that you not only need, but deserve. And hey, even if you're not a cigarette smoker, you can enjoy one this holiday season in a nice, casual way. Before we continue with tonight's show, I just mentioned it, we will be back on Friday right here on twitch.tv/athomewithjames. Who's going to be stopping by for a third consecutive week? It is the guest who has taken the show by storm. Some say he's even more popular than I am on my own show. That's right. It's Connor Rose filling in for his sister, Carmen Rose, as guest host of On the Couch with Carmen. Every week, Connor stops by to ask me questions, which in the past have included how to talk to women and how did you get your beard to grow. We will check in with Connor. We will see how his dating life is going, and we will get more hard-hitting questions. So that is Friday right here. Tell your mom, dad, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, Grammy, Grampy. Tell your best friend, tell your worst enemy to tune in to At Home with James. Now, we're going to shift gears. Yes, we're talking about Thanksgiving, a holiday that I admittedly don't care about. I've celebrated it twice in the past 33 years. One of these instances, I ate ham. I'm not a big fan of ham. A ham dinner, I feel like I'm eating human. It's very fleshy meat. A couple years ago, I went to a former special friend's parents' house for a nice turkey dinner, and it was fine. Turkey's fine. The experience overall was quite nice. But I have no relation to Thanksgiving. It brings me no sentimental feelings or joy when Thanksgiving happens. Anytime I've worked in an office, I've thought, great, I have a Monday off. And then I don't do anything with it. We know this. And you also know that I have no relationship to Halloween, but I am trying. God knows that I am trying. You might be asking yourself, James, how many more times are you going to tell us you don't care about Halloween? As many times as I have to for it to get through your head. But I'm trying. I have received word from our production team that Carla Ma will not be here tonight. I advertised her card subject to change, but our upcoming guest, I think, fits the tone of the Halloween season. Now, you know that Carla has been consensually abducted and has been placed in a commune known as the Cornucopia Utopia, which is what I like to call a cult. It's what they like to call a community that convene in a cornfield, not to be confused with corn-flavored cigarettes. Last week she was here. She told us about a butter maiden that is her superior. Is that the way that I want to put it? Well, in place of Carla Ma tonight, this butter maiden is here. And this feels a little spooky. So I'm going to be on guard to the best of my abilities. Let us welcome the Corn Maiden to At Home with James.
Corn Maiden? Butter Maiden? Both are incorrect. It's the Butter Matron, James McGee.
Okay, my apologies. I was just talking about corn. This whole thing has been about cornucopia. And yes, I got the name wrong. We're off to a bad start.
Do your job better. You only have one.
Yes, this is true. There are many people on this show that have a variety of jobs, whether it's working in video editing, working in technical direction. I have one job. It is to know the name of my guests. And right now I'm at 50% success. We are here with the Butter Matron.
That's correct.
Okay, are we good?
One of many butter matrons.
Okay,
One
so
could
we know
say
this.
I might be the Butter Matriarch, though.
Are you?
I am, James.
Okay, so we are live with the Butter Matron, the Butter Matriarch of the Cornucopia Utopia. Where are you coming to us from tonight, Butter Matriarch?
Oh, haven't you done your homework?
That was my other job, and I didn't do that either. I took a long nap today.
I'm broadcasting from an undisclosed location, James. We live in a secret commune. Oh, didn't you mention before that you like secrets?
I like a good... Are you telling me that you've got a secret?
I have many secrets.
Well, do you feel liberal in sharing some of the secrets?
Oh, perhaps, but I'm not sure you're ready to hear it.
Okay, hey, look, I'm totally fine with a nice, slow burn, Butter Matriarch. You're coming to us from an undisclosed location. If I may say so, while it looks somewhat spooky, it seems that you're celebrating autumn in the same way that many of our guests have. The leaves are falling. There must be a nice crispy crunch when you take your footsteps through your commune.
A crispy crunch. My foot lays on the golden leaves. A crispy crunch. My foot crushes the head of my enemies.
Okay, I'd like to talk about that. So when I was last speaking with Carla, who was consensually abducted on her own accord to be part of this Cornucopia Utopia commune, things seemed really positive and upbeat. And talking to you, it seems like things have taken somewhat of a sharp and dark turn.
Oh, little Carla, the Corn Maiden. How innocent and naive she is. Oh,
Yeah, is Carla
it's
okay?
so easy to butter her up. And
Do you mean do you mean literally or figuratively butter her up?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Yes, that's precisely why I asked.
How intrigued you are about our group sex.
Yeah. Last week I was convinced that this commune is merely a front for group sex.
What do you have against polyamorous group orgies?
I don't have anything wrong or anything against. I don't think there's anything wrong, and I have nothing against polyamorous group orgies. what my scope of the situation is that this is meant to be some type of positive and free-spirited and naturalistic community when it's just about having group sex.
Very natural. Slithering and sliding between 20 different bodies, all buttered up.
Okay, so people are actually being buttered up.
You know, it's all of their free will. Not everyone is freaky here at Cornucopia.
Okay, so what happens to the people that don't want to get freaky?
Well, they remain unbuttered, and they may never pop off.
Now, this is something that has come up pretty often. What does this whole idea of popping off mean? Again, it puts me in mind of group sex, or maybe even individual sex.
Popping off is ascending to a higher power, James. A power you wish you could only have. Oh,
I don't feel inclined of needing any power, Butter Matriarch. I feel like you're making a lot of projections.
You have no idea what you want, James. That is the truth.
Okay, so things seem like they're getting a little personal here. Are you to say that you think I don't know what I want?
I have a bone to pick with you. Trying to get in the head of our little corn maid. Trying to make her worried and fearful of cornholio.
Well, it's just that when you see a friend who seems like they're in a difficult position, you want to do what you can to help. And all I can say, Butter Matriarch, this is making me more concerned.
You should be concerned, but she has no concern. She came here of her own free will. I have the papers to prove it.
That's true. Yes, she did sign any papers, some papers rather. Can I ask a personal question?
A personal question?
Why not, if that's okay?
Ahead.
Well, do you have any personal Thanksgiving 2020 plans? Will you be watching the 72-hour marathon of Chopped on the Food Network?
Oh, I will be watching a 72-hour marathon of Chopped. But it won't be on the Food Network.
Okay, so well, you know what that sounds like, right? You know what you're essentially in some roundabout vague way communicating to not only me but the people. You know what that sounds like, right? Butter Matriarch.
Oh, why don't you tell me, James? What does it sound like? Oh,
well, it sounds even worse now that this ominous music is playing. It sounds like you're going to be watching people get chopped into pieces for 72 hours. The only thing I'm wondering is that happening before or after the group sex?
Oh, James, you have a personal invitation from Cornholio himself to come to our Thanksgiving dinner, a great feast all prepared by our sweet little corn maidens.
Okay, so you're inviting me to join in on your perverse Thanksgiving?
Yes, come. Carla needs your help, James.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to accept this invitation, and I would like to do it by way of this show.
What? What was that?
Yeah. Why don't we do some type of simulcast?
A simulcast?
Mm-hmm.
Oh! Will it include Brian clientele from the chat? You are telling me this is one of the worst at home with James shows Brian clientele. I'll tell you why viewership is low. It's because they got chopped.
Okay, so great. So, usually we're like anywhere from 7, tonight's 7, we're usually like 15 or 16. So I guess half the viewers have been axed. Thanks for that. Thanks. That's great.
You're very welcome. They just didn't want to come out to the commune. They resisted, even though they all signed the same form from Spirit Oracle Journey. But they didn't read the fine print, you see. If you so decide to change your mind, you will get chopped, chopped, chopped.
Well, this one I'm gonna have my people contact your people, and maybe we'll find a way to bring some type of harmonious connection, a bridge, if you will, in between my show and your group sex and murder.
I would love that. And if you wouldn't mind, could you invite Gabe Rondos along with you? He seems like
I
nice
think Gabe
gentleman.
is supposed to be here. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. People who smoke cigarettes for 3 days straight, I think, tend to enjoy group sex.
Yes, you mentioned the corn cigarettes. You want to know something? We manufacture those.
Okay, so this is all starting to make a lot more sense. Well,
yes,
Butter
where
Matriarch.
Do you think we get all our money from?
Oh, from Big Tobacco.
Exactly, Big Tobacco.
Now I feel bad about advocating for cigarettes earlier. I can't believe I went to bat for cigarettes.
You want to bat for something else?
What does that mean? I can't tell if that's
for a juicy turkey leg.
I'm not a big fan of the leg. So
Oh no. Could I offer you a fleshy ham instead?
Oh God. Butter Matriarch, I think this is a good place. Good place to call it.
Oh, so soon. Don't make me sad, James. Oh.
Look, how about this? How about we'll check in on Monday?
Okay. I'll see you Monday.
Yeah, take it easy, Butter Matriarch. Okay, that is the Butter Matriarch. When tonight's show started, I thought, hey, we're going to have a nice little Thanksgiving extravaganza, a little preview, if you will, for Thanksgiving. I thought I could get into the spirit, and I did to a degree. And now I feel more concerned about the holiday as a whole than I did before. And you want to talk about concerned? I'm even more concerned for Carla Ma, who just suddenly can't be here tonight. What's going on with her? Last week, I said, wink once if you're in trouble and you need help. I got more than one wink. Of course, they were staggered, indicating 3 strong winks. Now, suddenly, she's not here. Suddenly, we got the butter. I don't know why I keep getting the name wrong either. I think all this talk about corn cigarettes and cornucopia has truly infiltrated my mind. And I'm starting to wonder if this is the way they get these people on their side. And look, I don't have anything against group sex. I don't care if people want to butter themselves up and jump into a big pile of human flesh, slipping in and out in between person and other people. If that's what you want to do, you can do it. It's not my bag. It's not my bag at all, especially not in the time of COVID. That's for darn sure. That is for darn sure. So not only are you putting yourself at risk, you're putting other people at risk. Folks, we got about 10 minutes left, which means it's time to get nice and cozy for some solo time with your old pal, Jimsy Whimsy. That's right, a new nickname that is yet to appear on the show. Folks, once in a while, I'm sitting here on my nice swirly chair. I'm having a good time on the show. I'm talking to my guests. I'm having fun. And then what do we see? We get to see some nice, fun comments in the chat. Now, here's the deal. I don't care about what people say in the chat. It doesn't really bother me that much. But here's the thing. You don't have to watch. In fact, go away. Go away. Sometimes people will ask, hey, who booked this SHIT? And I said it once and I'll say it again. I booked it. So if you don't like what you're watching, don't insult the performers. Any of them. Just go away. GOAWAY. This is like the online technological equivalent of a heckler at a comedy show. The only thing that I don't have working in my direction or in my benefit is the ability to absolutely obliterate audience members like I miss doing from the stages of various stages in the city of Montreal. You know, sometimes I go into a restaurant and I don't like the food. I sit down, maybe the service is bad. I don't take it out on the server. I don't take it out on the hostess or the host. I don't take it out on the cashier. I certainly don't take it out on the chef. You know what I do? I think, I probably just won't come back. And then I move on with my life. Now, if you're someone that likes to support the show, you're entitled to your opinion. I have absolutely no problem with that. But here's the thing, Brian Clientele, we know who you are. We know that you've got all your multiple accounts. We get it, bro. We totally get it. I get it. We all get it, man. So if you're going to have multiple accounts, at least change up the way that you type. I'm not a moron, and I'm sure you're not a bad guy. I'm sure you're a nice guy. But nice guys, at times, can be assholes. So just chill, bro. You don't have to like all of it, but don't rain on the parade of everyone else. You think I leave every show loving it? Of course I don't. But I don't tell all my performers that might be having a rough night. Not that that happened tonight. I like the show tonight. And there's a lot of people that like the show. Sometimes I don't like myself when I leave the show. Am I going to look in the mirror and say, what are you doing with your life? Not because of the show. I'll do that any day of the week. And you don't have to go away. But go away if you're going to insult people. I put the thing in the chat rules for a reason. I feel good. I feel great. Now, we got a couple of minutes left. I'm going to take a nice sip of water. And I'm going to recap the chat rules. Now, it says it clearly. It says, get involved with the show as part of the chat. All you have to do is follow one simple rule. Be nice. When you're in the chat, be nice. When there's a guest on the show, be nice. I want you to be nice. You are the viewers and I am the cooler. All you have to do is watch my back and each other's. Also, yes, this is dialogue from Roadhouse. Now, if you don't know Roadhouse, it's on Netflix, so go watch it. Patrick Swayze plays a bouncer who goes from bar to bar, and he cools situations down. One of his bouncers said to him, what do you do? And he said, just be nice. And the bouncers were like, what? That's crazy. And they start going through different scenarios. And then Swayze says, be nice until it's time to not be nice. And the bouncer said, how are we supposed to know? And Swayze says, you won't, I will tell you, folks, tonight was the moment where it was time to not be nice. But here's the deal. I'm a great guy. I truly am a great guy. I think if I died tomorrow, I'd have a very, very well-attended funeral. Absolutely sold out from top to bottom. Brian Clientele, I accept your apology. Just be cool, man. Just be cool. I don't have 300 people in this chat with the messages. So just know that when you're talking shit about the performers, they can see it. And here's the deal. You're entitled to that. But I'm entitled to say whatever I want, whenever I want, to whomever I want, because this show is called At Home with James. I am James. You are you. We were here. The Butter Matriarch was here. Gabe Rondos was here. And guess what? They'll both be back on Monday because I booked the show. Folks, thanks for being cool in the chat. Those of you who are cool, we appreciate you. We appreciate the support. We will be back on Friday. Until then, take care. Have a good night. See, there's a thing. I messed up my whole outro. I threw it off. This is a legendary ending to this show. It was a legendary ending. We're going to try it again. That's rewind noise. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and be well. Woo!